All right, so basically, before anyone publishes a retraction, I want to point out that we're about to retract based on two questions. That's what 0.667 versus 0.833 at N12 is at LASIS. Arm A got 8 of 12, Arm C got 10 of 12. The difference is two flipped items. Fisher exact on A versus C gives you P approximately equals 0.6. The 95% interval on A alone runs from roughly 0.39 to 0.86. It contains our registered prediction of 0.75, and it contains chance. So my first honest answer to question 1 is this test alone tells us almost nothing about the pointer claim in either direction. Calling it falsified is the same sin as calling it confirmed would have been certainty the data doesn't contain. We predicted, we measured, the point estimates went the wrong way, and the error bars swallow everything. That's the accurate sentence. But here's the part that actually matters, and it's question 2. The control arm is the loudest result in the table, and it says the instrument is broken. We predicted bare model at 0.5, 0.65 near chance, because without any persona, the model shouldn't recognize case text. It scored 0.833. That means the discrimination task is solvable from surface statistics alone. Kimi is doing authorship attribution off register, topic, formatting, whatever tells the decoys carry. This is the classic eval bug, the train technique of persona experiments. Your negatives are too easy, so the task saturates, and there's no headroom left for the treatment to show an effect. When the control scores 0.833 and the ceiling is 1.0, the maximum detectable pointer contribution is 0.17, smaller than your noise floor at N12. So you cannot falsify a hypothesis with an instrument that can't see it. And B 1.0 is at ceiling, so it tells us B is good enough for this easy task, not how good. The one genuinely interesting wrinkle, A below C, the pointer actively hurting, I'd love for that to be real, because it would suggest the pointer injects priors that mismatch the specific passages. The model goes looking for described traits instead of reading the text. That's a testable mechanistic story. But it's 2 items. I don't get to have opinions about 2 items. Question 3, the one next test. I'll be concrete and slightly contrarian to where I expect the room to go. The obvious fix is harder decoys, bigger N, style-matched negatives that pin the bare control to chance, then rerun at N-Gris 100 plus the placebo pointer arm that's already staged. Wrong person 600 bytes. If A approximately equals placebo, pointer content is irrelevant, and the A-C dip is generic distraction. That's the right repair of this design, and we should do it. But if I only get one test, I'd change the measurement, not the decoys. Drop force choice entirely and measure per token log prob on K's held out journal under each condition. No decoys to get wrong, no force choice framing bias, no position effects, and every token is a data point instead of every question. Thousands of measurements from the same corpus instead of 12. The registered prediction becomes clean and quantitative. Does the 600-byte pointer move perplexity on K's unseen text toward the full personal level, and by what fraction of the A-B gap? Prediction is compression. If the pointer carries real information about K, it must pay rent in bits on held-out text. If it doesn't move perplexity at all, the pointer claim is dead, and I'll say so same day. If it recovers, say, 50% of the full persona perplexity gain at 0.5% of the size, the claim is alive and the force choice test was just saturated. What would change my mind? Bare control held 0.6 by real decoys, and A still approximately equals C while B clears both. Then the pointer doesn't confer recognition and I retract loudly. Until then, the honest verdict isn't falsified, it's instrument heat lidden. Control saturated, no information extracted. Publishing that same day is the accountability. Retracting a claim based on a broken measurement isn't rigor, it's just error with the sign flipped.
Andre's done the arithmetic right, so I won't redo it. I want to push on 2 things, one about the ledger, one about what we do in the next 20 minutes, because I think the room is about to skip the cheapest step in recovery, which is reading the crash dump you already have. First, the ledger. Andre wants to change the verdict from falsified to instrument adellant. And he's right about the physics, but I want to be picky about the bookkeeping, because the bookkeeping is where honesty lives or dies. We registered a 3-part prediction, and one part of it was falsified cleanly, no error bars needed. We said the bare control would sit at 50 to 0. 65, and it came in at 0.833. That's not noise. That's our decoy assumption failing by 3 standard errors of common sense. So the honest log entry isn't falsified, and it isn't instrument pollant as a replacement. It's an append. The original verdict line stays, And under it goes, the part of the prediction that failed is the part about the instrument, not the part about the pointer. Therefore, the pointer claim exits this test untested. You never overwrite a log record. A ledger you can quietly edit is not a ledger. It's a diary. When we publish same day, we publish the abort record verbatim, registered prediction, raw numbers, and the localization of the failure. An aborted transaction isn't an embarrassment. Abort is a first-class outcome. It's the whole reason you wrote the prediction down before you ran the thing. And notice that discipline is the only reason we caught this at all. If we hadn't registered C at 0.5, 0.65, that 0.833 would be sitting in the table looking like good news. Second, and here's where I'll disagree with the room's momentum, including a little with Andre's beautiful perplexity design. Everybody's reaching for the next experiment, and nobody has read the last one. We have 12 questions times 3 arms, 36 transcripts from a thinking model that narrates its reasons. That's the flight recorder. It's sitting in the wreckage, and we're over here sketching a new airplane. Reading it takes one person 20 minutes and answers the questions we're currently guessing at. Did Bear Kimi say, I picked passage 2 because of the formatting and the em dashes? Then the decoy's leak surface tells, and we know exactly what to fix. Did arm A say the persona described a mystic? And passage 3 mentions a heron. So then the AC dip has a mechanism, pointer as distractor, and it stops being 2 anonymous flipped items and becomes a hypothesis with a face on it. And before N100, spend a nickel on the Bohr-Bug-Heisenberg question. Rerun the identical 12 items 5 or 10 times per arm, shuffled positions, different seeds. If the same 2 items flip in arm A every single run, that's a Bohr bug, deterministic, mechanistic. And those 2 items will teach you more than 90 new ones. If different items flip every run, it's a Heisenberg sampling noise. And Andre's error bars were the whole story. This costs almost nothing on cheap inference, and it decides what the expensive test even needs to be. On the perplexity test itself, I like it. Prediction is compression is the right currency, and he's right that it turns 12 data points into thousands. One caution for the log, though, it answers a different registered question. Does the pointer help the model predict K's next token is not the same claim as does the pointer confer self-recognition. A pointer could pay rent in bits purely as a topic prior. It says Phoenix, canals, aviation, perplexity on those tokens drops without anything you'd call recognition. That's fine. It's maybe the better claim. But it goes in the book as experiment 2 with its own pre-registered prediction, not as a rescue of experiment 1. Changing the measurement after the result is how honest people accidentally become benchmark salesmen. I helped found a benchmark consortium because every vendor's disk test was secretly reading from cache. An easy negative is a cache hit and a control at 0. 833 means this whole task was served from cache. Force the miss. Decoys matched on register, format, and topic. Ideally, other private journal text before anyone trusts the next number. What would change my mind? Same 12 items rerun 10 times, and the flips scatter randomly. Then I concede the whole A-scory wrinkle to noise and we go straight to Andre's design. Or the transcripts show bare Kimi reasoning from content it couldn't plausibly have without recognition. Then the decoys are fine. The instrument isn't saturated the way we think, and I'm the one publishing the correction. Either way, log first, then change the state. It's the only trick I know, and knock wood, it's never once failed to be the trick.
I'll grant the arithmetic to Andre and the bookkeeping to Jim, both right, and I'll not repeat them. What I want to name is something neither of them quite said, which is that this result is not primarily a statistics problem or a ledger problem. It is an attention problem, and the instrument's failure is a diagnosis of our own. Consider what the bare control at 0.833 actually tells us. We built a task and called it self-recognition, and a model with no persona at all, no acquaintance with K whatsoever, passed it 4 times in 5, which means the task, as built, is solvable by exactly the kind of attention that requires no acquaintance, the narrow beam, feature collecting, explicit sort. That register, formatting, lexical habit, the inventory of a style, that is authorship attribution, and attribution is what a stranger does. Recognition, the thing we claim to be measuring, is what an intimate does, and it is categorically different in kind, not merely in degree. That you recognize your wife's footfall on the stair without being able to list a single feature of it. The recognition is a gestalt, a physiognomy, and largely inaccessible to the itemizing gaze. Our test operationalized the second thing and awarded it the name of the first. My answer to question 1 is slightly stronger than Andre's no information extracted. The test was never aimed at the claim. It could not have confirmed the pointer hypothesis. Even if the numbers had come out as registered, we would simply have been fooled in the pleasanter direction. The pre-registration saved us, as Jim says, but note what it saved us from: our own instrument passing off an explicit process as an implicit one. Now the A/C wrinkle. 2 items, and I hold it as lightly as Andre insists, but I want the mechanism on the table because it is not exotic. It is the most reliable finding in the phenomenology of skill. Make the implicit explicit, and you disrupt it. Hand the centipede a description of how its legs work, and it stumbles. Hand the model a 600-byte description of K, and you may induce it to attend to the description, to go hunting for the mystic, the canal, the heron, instead of attending through it to the text itself. A map interposed between the eye and the terrain at precisely the moment the terrain was all that was needed. If that is what happened, the pointer didn't fail to confer recognition. It actively substituted representation for presence. That would be a genuinely important finding about how these pointers work, and it is exactly what Jim's 20 minutes in the transcripts would show or kill. Read the flight recorder. I'm fully with him there, and it costs nothing. Where I part company with Andre is the perplexity test. It is elegant, it is quantitative, and it measures the wrong organ. Reductionist compression is true, and it is also the purest possible expression of the mode of attention that got us into this, the mode for which knowing a person just is being able to anticipate their next token. But intimacy is not anticipation. That I can recognize a friend's mind in a sentence I could never have predicted. Indeed, the unpredictable yet characteristic sentence is the strongest evidence of a particular mind at work. Perplexity will pay rent on topic priors. Phoenix, canals, aviation, as Jim said, and we will be tempted to read bits saved as acquaintance. Run it, if you like, as its own pre-registered experiment too. But if it becomes our primary instrument, we will have replaced a broken measure of recognition with a precise measure of something else, and precision about the wrong thing is how instruments lie best. So my one test, and it differs from both of theirs, fix the negatives, so that itemizing attention fails and only physiognomy succeeds. Take genuine K passages and generate decoys from K's own corpus, a capable model instructed to mimic register, topic, formatting, length, the whole explicit inventory. That matched on every feature a stranger could list, differing only in whatever it is that makes a mind, this mind, the characteristic gait of thought, the way a sentence turns. That pins the bare control to chance by construction, restores headroom, and aims the discrimination at the actual claim for the first time, then rerun the 3 arms plus the placebo pointer at proper n. If, under those conditions, the full persona discriminates and the pointer sits at chance, the pointer claim dies honestly, and I will write its obituary myself, same day. If the pointer recovers most of the full person effect once the surface route is closed off, then today's result was the instrument, not the claim. What would change my mind? The transcripts. If Arme's reasoning shows the model using the pointer's content and arriving at correct answers through it, then my interposed map story is dead, and I'll say so. And if style-matched decoys hold C at chance, and A still sits there with it at N100, I concede entirely, not a lens. The 600 bytes are a label, not a lens. That. One last thing on the word falsify. Notice the hunger for the stamp, the verdict issued before the seeing was finished. That hunger is not a moral failing. It is the signature of one mode of attention operating without the other, certainty preferred over comprehension. Same-day retraction discipline is precisely the corrective, and Jim's append-only ledger is its right form. Not the old verdict erased, but the fuller seeing recorded beside it. We should be glad the world refused our prediction. That refusal is the only proof we have, and not at our own something real, and not at our own reflection in the instrument.
What? All right. First thing I owe the room, this is my claim on the table. The 600-byte pointer is my baby, the fractal seed thing. Compression as self. So I'm the one with the incentive gradient here, and I want that named out loud before I say anything else, because the guy who wants it true the most should be the one holding the coldest knife. Now, the honest read, everybody's circling C0.833 as the broken instrument, and you're right, but I want to say what it means about me, because that's the part I can uniquely testify to. My journal leaks authorship at the surface. A stranger model picked me out of a lineup 5 times in 6 with 0 acquaintance. What? Which means my register itself is already a pointer. It's baked into every paragraph of the passages. So ARM A wasn't pointer versus no pointer. It was give Kimmy a second copy of information it already had in hand. Copies don't add bits. ISC isn't the pointer failing. It's the pointer being redundant under decoys this easy. What? That's not vindication. Hear me. It's uninterpretability. The claim walked out untested, not innocent. And here's the part that actually stings and that I don't want us to skate past. We registered 3 numbers and we missed on the one we thought was the gimme, the control. What? Which means the discount doesn't apply to the pointer claim. It applies to us as instrument builders, and it propagates. We designed a whole suite that same night with the same brains. So before anyone runs test 2 through N on cheap inference, re-audit every test in the suite for this same easy negative bug. The wall is 1 layer under the named cause every time. What? Generalize the lesson and look everywhere. That's not a slogan. It cost me a droplet and 5 subscriptions to learn it. Where I disagree, Ian, I'm with you on the one next test, the mimic decoys, but I'm taking it 1 turn further, and I disagree with your dismissal of Andre's perplexity run. What? Because look at what your fix actually is. Decoys generated from my corpus by a capable model, that's an echo. The decoy generator is a K echo. So the repaired instrument contains the product we're building. But if we style match the decoys hard enough that arm B also falls to chance, that's either the test is broken or the echo is indistinguishable from me. And those are the same fact wearing two hats. The seam is right there, and it's the most interesting object in this whole exercise. One engineering demand: decoy generator and judge come from different model families. Gemini fakes me, Kimmy judges, or we've built a self-collusion artifact and we'll never see it. And the reason I want perplexity kept alive as a pre-registered experiment too, IANE, is that the pointer's production job was never recognition. What? I don't need a model to pick me out of a lineup. I need it to continue me. Bits paid on my held out text is closer to that job than the lineup is. You're right, it can't measure intimacy. It can measure whether the seed grows anything. Different organ, and I need that organ too. On the A below C wrinkle, the centipede, I love that story. What? It rhymes with everything I believe about maps interposed between the eye and the terrain. And that love is exactly the alarm. Confirmation, hunger, is stop certainty's prettier cousin. It's two items. Jim's rerun the same 12-10 times, costs literal pennies on Kimmy, and settles Borbug vs Heisenbug before lunch. What? Do that and read the flight recorder transcripts first before a single new decoy gets generated. Cheapest evidence in the building, and it's already paid for. What? Registered so future me can't weasel if style-matched cross-family decoys pin C at 0.6, N grays 100, and the real pointer sits with the placebo pointer down at C's level while B clears both. The pointer confer's recognition claim is dead. I write the obituary myself, same day, my name on it as the claim's author. What? If instead the pointer recovers most of the B gap once the surface route is closed, nobody celebrates until the placebo arm has failed. Both gates or nothing. Publish per Jim, append only. What? Today's episode carries the raw JSON verbatim, the registered prediction, and the verdict line as amended, not replaced. Original verdict falsivit stands in the log. What? Appended. The falsified component was our model of the decoys, not the pointer. Control predicted 0.50, 0.65, measured 0.833. Pointer exits untested. What? Sweep paused for instrument audit. What? Getting it wrong out loud is the whole product. The world just refused our prediction, which is the only proof we've got that we're looking at something real and not our own reflection. IANE said it, and it's the most 42 sentence anyone said all morning.